Segment number 7, other review in AP Micro or Microeconomics. This is the second part of the discussion of monopoly. We're going to finish up with what happens to this situation in terms of profitability and what we can do or want to do as regulators to try to restore some aspects or attributes of perfect competition to this market. What we need here, what we missed, is we're just, in this case, only going to add one curve, the average total cost curve. And we just kind of arbitrarily draw it in here. Imagine that's the minimum of the average total cost curve, where the intersection should be the minimum. And we can write ATC. AC would also work. Variable cost is not really going to be matter to us because we're not making an entry-exit decision and worrying about those sorts of things that we would in a perfectly competitive market because there are barriers to entry. Either this firm makes profits or it's not going to make profits. So we're over here. We want to evaluate this last part of our solution step, number 3. At this point, we now, for Q sub m, at Q sub m means along this vertical line. At Q sub m, we've found the price, which is also equal to average revenue for a non-price discriminating firm. If we discriminated the price, or we'd be capturing some of the consumer surplus. At this point, non-price discriminating firm, everyone pays the same price. If everyone pays the same price, then the revenue, the average revenue, is the price. There we are with that. The question is, we also want to know average cost. Average total cost, we come up this vertical line, intersecting with average total cost, and that's our average cost. Profits are average revenue minus average cost times quantity. Profits here, average revenue is greater than average cost. That means that this expression is positive, which the monopolist likes. So we have positive economic profits, or monopoly profits, or also monopoly rent. Monopoly profits or monopoly rent are terms that describe these positive economic profits that accrue to a monopolist. So this monopolist is operating at Q sub m with that price, earning those profits. Question is, well, how is that different than in perfect competition? Recall that in perfect competition we have two specific things that occur. The first is that we're operating at this point where the marginal benefit that is revealed by the demand curve, the marginal benefit is the willingness of these consumers to pay to get this commodity. So we know the benefit, they're willing to pay as much as the benefit they receive. We know this is the marginal benefit, we know this is the marginal cost. In perfect competition, we manufacture to a point such that marginal benefit equals marginal cost, which is the definition of allocative efficiency, something that is always required and asked about on the AP exam. Allocative efficiency, we allocate these things such that consumers have at least as much benefit or more benefit than it costs to manufacture and produce the goods. Marginal benefit equals marginal cost. Here we find this is marginal benefit for the monopoly market. However, we stop here. Because of the nature of the marginal revenue curve, reducing the amount of output that a monopolist makes in comparison to a perfect competitive market, we're only manufacturing this much. And this segment of the demand curve represents all those points where the marginal benefit lying here is above marginal cost. Society would do well to transfer resources into this market and somehow manufacture these things for which consumers are getting a greater benefit than it costs to produce and supply this product, which would be a good thing. But we see the firm, not for any nefarious reason, but because of the economics of its marginal revenue, marginal cost curves, stops here. Can we regulate this firm to somehow recover some of that area to give us a situation where we have marginal benefit equals marginal cost? Yes. First way we can regulate is called marginal costing regulation. Marginal cost regulation is just the type of regulation where we say the firm can set the price such that it'll be equal to, the price will be equal to marginal cost. And that, not by any surprise, happens to be the same point we have here. The same point we have here. So we could say to this firm, no, you may only charge as much as marginal cost is. And pushing that out here, that means that this firm is going to be expanding its output because it'll be producing to here, be forcing them to charge that, not this price. and we can recover this condition of marginal benefit equals marginal costing. However, if we were still to go out here, we would now have an output level that's here, but you can see that at this output level, average total cost still is below average revenue. So this firm, even though this firm meets the condition of marginal benefit marginal cost, it's not the same as a firm in a perfectly competitive market for which the marginal firm would have zero economic profits, where the profits are such that the resources are being compensated only as much, or exactly as much, as their opportunity cost, exactly as good or as poorly as they could be used elsewhere, which is another way we could describe efficiency. In this case, no, these resources are being compensated above the level that they would receive if they were in another application producing something different. So there's a second way to regulate this market, and that would be an average costing regulation, saying to this firm, no, you must produce, you can only receive as much as your average cost. And that would compel or encourage this firm to come out to here, and the demand curve intersects at that point, expanding output. But at this point we have zero economic profits, but actually we'd be manufacturing some units for which the marginal benefit here is less than marginal cost, which is not allocatively efficient. So to review the concept of regulation, we have a choice of one of two conditions we see in perfect competition. Either we can have allocated efficiency or zero economic profits, but they're somewhat mutually exclusive. In most situations where the curves are and the way the actual technology of the firm might be, they're not going to be coinciding at this point. So typically there's a choice. Either there's allocated efficiency, marginal benefit equals marginal cost, or there's zero economic profit, and we may make some units that are not allocatively efficient, that actually we're using more resources than would be received as benefits for the consumer. In most cases, we're probably going to see the allocated efficiency type of regulation. That's the one that I think we predominant, the one that you mostly see, but both exist. Be familiar with both for the AP exam, the microeconomics exam. That's the end of monopoly, and that's the end of the second segment.